Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome back to Blitzburg Squad. I'm Wesley Seeley, joined alongside Shane Smith. Thanks for joining us as we dive into the Week 10 NFL preview of the Steelers versus the Bengals. Well, Shane, another divisional game. And another divisional game with division opponent coming off their bye week.
Yes.
Which is great.
Nice recurring theme here.
Right. Now, I guess we don't really know what we're getting with this game because we saw, Sunday night, Monday morning, whenever it came out, that Steelers player had tested positive for COVID.
Yeah, I want to say it was Sunday night.
That's what I was thinking,
and
shortly
then
after the
I want
game.
to say Monday they announced whom it was.
Right.
Being that of Mr. Vance McDonald.
Mr. Vance.
And so they had to go through the tracing, and that's why everybody wears those bracelets and all of that. And
Right.
it turned out that Jared Hawkins, Jalen Samuels, Ben, and Vince Williams were in close contact. So, I mean, it was nice that, for Vance being a starter and on the line and things like that, that only 4 people had to quarantine.
Yeah.
And as far as we've been told, none of them have tested positive. So.
Right. And that's the good news is they haven't tested positive. It's just now they just have to test negative for the rest of the week.
Pretty much, yeah.
And they're able to join for walkthroughs on Saturdays.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So they just have to do everything virtually at the moment.
Yeah, so, and honestly, it's probably better, especially for Ben. Like,
right.
Who knows if his knee's actually hurting or not.
Yeah.
So give him a full week off. He's smart enough that, maybe he'll come out bad in the first quarter, but when is our offense back and forth sometime throughout the game? So, if he comes out a little slow or whatnot in the first quarter, but he's healthy because of it,
right.
I'm fine with
I've
it.
heard he can also see the team doctor still. He just has to obviously wear a mask, and they have to monitor which doors he's coming in and exiting out of, and but he can still see medical doctor for treatment for his knees if in case he would need to. So that's nice.
Okay.
So we can get that good juice again.
Yes. Right before the game. Just don't puncture anything.
Right. So this could really, our topic of discussion could really go one or two ways. We could either be talking about Rudolph playing for the game, Rudolph and maybe even Dobbs. I don't even know.
Right, even Dobbs, which, that's a question for you. Who would you rather have play?
I don't know, man. I honestly think Dobbs, and honestly, just because of the unknown, we haven't really seen him take complete control of our offense since
for a couple of years at least.
Right.
I would have said I like Mason, but I think Mason's a lot of the same mold as Ben.
Right.
And so it's easy for teams to gauge that. By having that opportunity to have Dobbs in, Dobbs can throw pretty far.
Yep.
He's very smart above the shoulders.
Right.
I mean, he's helping Ben dial up plays and noticing different things on the sideline, so he's very smart when it comes to that, and he can scramble.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Like, that throws any team off. If you have some dude that can scramble or get out of the pocket when things break down, that can win or lose you the game.
And sorry, but what does Mason offer that Dobbs doesn't? A big arm?
I was going to say maybe a bigger arm.
Maybe. And at that point, it's I do understand. I like Mason's tangibles. I like that he offers almost the same thing that Big Ben does.
Right.
He's a stay-in-the-pocket guy, big dude, can take a hit, can launch a ball.
Unless it's by Earl Thomas. But.
Oh, yeah, unless it's by Earl Thomas. But, he can basically do the things that Ben does, which I think is why everybody liked him coming to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
But after seeing what he did last year and just struggling and even just coming in, and I know you kind of like Mason maybe a little bit more than I do.
Yes.
but for him coming in last week for just a drive, he just looked, to me, just my opinion, he just looked frazzled. He just he overthrew, I think, overthrew Claypool on a route, and then I think threw one in the dirt. Just, I don't know. He didn't look comfortable back there. It's by this point, what is this, his third year?
Third or fourth, probably third, I want to say.
Yeah. I would think he would be a little bit more comfortable back there.
Right, you would think so. My biggest thing is how many reps is he actually getting? And so that's one of the things that I would say is, is he not seeing a lot of time? Because I know they want Dobbs on the scout team, so does that mean that, and I don't know enough about NFL practices to say, is Dobbs getting more reps than Mason? So more reps may help, especially with Chase or Ebron or things like that. And then last year, he was definitely hit or miss. When he was hot, he was hot. When he wasn't, he wasn't.
Yeah.
And I honestly think he was playing his best game last year against the Ravens until Earl Thomas absolutely obliterated his head and somehow didn't get suspended for it because apparently that was only warranted for a fine. But whatever, he's not in the league anymore. I don't care. And then honestly, after that, it was almost like he was gun shy. Yeah. He got drilled in the head, and then he didn't want to take another hit. He was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like, please don't do this to me.
Right.
So you're right. It is, what can he offer us? And I would like to see in practices him take the step up. And I think that's ultimately why Tomlin said, we're going to give you most of the reps. Dobbs is going to get some too, though, because if Dobbs in, say, half the reps looks a lot better.
Right. Oh, and
Dobbs can go.
Say they start, which I'm sure they will start Mason. But if Mason gets injured or if Mason's just not looking good at halftime,
make a switch.
Right, make the switch. And
this is all
hypothetical.
Yeah, stuff that we hope never happens, but it's stuff that, everybody is going through everybody's minds. And so I'm going off the basis that everything's going to be good. Ben seems to be very careful with what he does, how he goes about, and just in his life in all, I know his kids are doing cyber schooling, and he's got a big enough place that's not around people that he should be fine. And we don't even know if Vance was asymptomatic or if he was showing symptoms.
True.
I know he had that illness, so they probably sent him home Friday. But if he ended up being asymptomatic when he tested, way less likely that anybody else tests positive. So I'm going off of it that Ben's going to play and we're not going to have to worry.
Right. So I guess erring off the side of caution and Ben is able just to get through the week, test negative, be back in and be game ready for Sunday. I guess what do you see? I guess from the Ravens game and the Cowboys game, we kind of started off slow for both games. What do you want to see out of this game with Ben being in there?
I want us to throw to set up the run.
Hey.
I am every week since week 3, we have slowly gotten worse every week on our running game, and I want us to start throwing the ball. And I don't want I don't want deep passes, but I also don't want 2 yards cut and go.
Right.
I want these short, intermediate passes, between 2 to 15 yards down the field, and then if a good opportunity, not a 3rd and 3
for the deep ball,
presents itself, try a deep ball to Chase or Juju or somebody like that. And it'll be interesting to see, because with Vance definitely out, that means Zach Gentry will be in. So is he going? Are we going to add extra sets? And he's a big boy.
He's like 6'6".
He's a giant. That's all I know.
He's a big dude. That's what I would like to see too. It's like our running game has completely disappeared in the past 2 weeks.
I would definitely. Well,
definitely
started second half of the Titans, then the Ravens.
Oh, so like 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks, I would say.
And this is going to be a physical game, being division game. We really got to get the running game going. Figure it out. If you got to, like you said, if you got a pass to open up the run, so be it.
And I just want them to have Derek Watt in. Apparently he was they said healthy scratch, and then it came out that Tomlin said, well, he had a setback on his hamstring. However, I haven't seen the injury report this week, but he wasn't on the injury report late last week, and as far as I knew, he wasn't on the injury report coming into this week. So I just think it's a bunch of bullarchy.
It's so strange.
They're just paying this guy to do nothing at this point, and if they were afraid that his hamstring was going to re-aggravate, they should have put him on the 3-week IR to begin with.
Exactly.
And not, because to me it seems like they're like, okay, here, practice on this, and now go do sprints, and then he re-injures the hamstring. So it's like, okay, haven't you learned your lessons, trainers? Like, slow the roll. Like, do to him like you're doing to Mike Hilton.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just don't understand it. But I think if he's in there, we would do better. Hopefully running the ball,
It can't
or if
hurt.
not, put in big old Mondo.
Yeah. Honestly,
okay.
it can't hurt at this point.
No,
It doesn't seem like whatever we're doing on offense to run, and it might be too. Might be game plan, might be the runners, but also too might be the offensive line. Like it seems like ever since, no offense because we love DeCastro, but ever since Dotson went out,
and Dotson's known as a great run blocker, and DeCastro definitely is better at pass blocking, although he's good at pulling as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've done a whole lot of pulls, along with.
Can't remember at least.
We run the same stinking formation for every run design all the time. And, like, I think I said this kind of on our recap.
Mm-hmm.
If you and I can tell what's going on, like where the ball is going to be run to, that it's a run, those people that are making millions of dollars know what's going on too.
Well, so get this. I watched the highlights again after we did our recap. It was on the fourth down stop that they stopped Snell.
Okay, so the first one.
The first one, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think it was 3. It might have been 4. It was either 3 or 4 times right in a row we ran out of the shotgun. Like back to back to back, and including that fourth down run to Benny Snell out of the shotgun. It's like, why?
And
how and why when it's not working successfully?
Right. And Ben's a giant guy. On 4th and 1, if it's literally 1 yard or less, he can sneak it.
And he wasn't injured at that point either, so
no.
let the dude use it.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but no, I want us to pass to set up the run instead of run to set up the pass. Or go into a formation that looks like you're guaranteed to run and run a stupid play action, like I say, week in and week out. Mr. Randyland doesn't know how to do that, apparently, but
no, I know.
Jeez, a Lou.
No, I know it. And then I guess, too, just to talk briefly on the Bengals defense, we talked about earlier, I guess you and I had talked about Dunlap not being a part of the Bengals.
Yeah.
So that should help us out a little bit. Geno Atkins kind of taking on a different role there.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Jesse Bates and Von Bell in their secondary have looked pretty solid. I know Jesse Bates has made a couple big hits this year.
Yeah, they're pretty decent safeties.
Yeah, and otherwise, I really don't know too much about like their linebacking core, their corners. So I don't know how they've really looked this year.
I don't either. I know they're not consistent of thugs anymore.
That's
but yeah, no, I think their defense makes some big plays, but overall, at least the highlights that I've seen or the games that are close that Burrow keeps them in,
they just do enough.
It seems like late in games they seem to make the stuff that you don't want to make. On the wins, typically, from what I've seen, it's Burrow making the winning stuff, not the defense.
Yeah.
Not
like ours,
like our team, where our defense can make the stops even if we're having heart attacks at the last second of the game. That's not it. You're relying on this young guy's arm to go in, and I don't know. I just don't trust Zach Taylor. I don't think he's a good head coach.
No, Burrow's making him look better than he is.
Oh, for sure. They shouldn't even have the 2 or 3 wins that they have.
Yeah.
Like if they had Andy Dalton or whoever else, with how they've looked, they're with the Jets this year. Like,
oh man, yikes!
It's that bad.
Okay, so let's switch gears, I guess, a little bit. Talk about the Bengals offense and our defense a little bit. I know we've talked about Joe Burrow numerous times.
Yeah, that kid impresses me week in and week out.
He's been a very impressive rookie, man, and without him at the helm, like you said, they're probably looking at a lot different record. Even though they don't look great. Their record doesn't look perfect.
Right. He's. I mean, honestly, 2 of their losses were to the Browns, and both of them by 3 points.
Oh,
and
wow.
One of them, Baker had to bring the Browns back into it. So, that switch, they have a winning record.
Yeah, true.
And so Burrow's done enough to do it for him.
He's looked good doing it. And who is it? T. Higgins, their rookie wide receiver. He's looked good. He's had connection with him.
Yeah, him and Burrow have had a great connection. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. If whenever you look at the Bengals wide receiving core, you have A.J. Green, you have Tyler Boyd, then you have T. Higgins. And it's like, okay, yeah, Burrow's probably all of his success is coming from Green or Boyd, and that's not the case. Like, it's coming from this Higgins guy.
Yeah.
And then Green and Boyd are just kind of starting to get in there with him. And then they have Mixon and Giovanni Bernard as their RBs that are doing pretty good. But yeah, no, he's great, and he makes the rest of the team look good.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, they probably would win more games too if he was able to stay back in there and actually make a throw, because his line, except against the Titans, looked horrible. I don't think he was sacked at all. I don't think the Titans got a sack on him, but the Titans have like 8 total sacks on the year.
Oh.
So they're doing horrible, where we have 32. And so we should have a field day on them.
Should. And that's what I was going to ask you too, actually, is do you think Burrow has a solid day like he has, or do you think he struggles because he actually plays a good defense?
This is probably his first big test.
That's what I was thinking. I mean,
because really his other big test, I would say,
Ravens?
Against a decent defense, Ravens, but I still don't think they looked super great. He put up a lot of yards. I just don't think a lot of points.
Okay.
I would say, like, on an offensive line standpoint, would have been the Eagles.
Oh, yeah,
and
true.
The
Eagles harassed him.
I think they sacked him 8 times, and they probably hit him dang near 15.
Yeah.
So if that's an indication on anything, we should, again, have a field day. However,
every time we say that,
as we know, we're 8-0. We're the last undefeated team. Every team wants to be the one to beat us.
Yep.
And so every team, every player is going to give it their absolute all for us.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't surprise me if we only hit them a couple of times.
Yeah.
I would love it if we got them more than a couple.
Oh, yeah, for sure, and we should. But I should have prefaced this preview with this, but TJ Houshmandzadeh and the towel on the cleat. Bengals posted this on one of their social media platforms, Twitter or
I was
Facebook.
going to say, I know it's at least on Twitter.
Twitter,
so.
Okay. It might have been Twitter. So they just posted that and put, like, Steelers week or something. So if that's not bulletin board material for the Steelers this week,
yeah,
I don't know what is.
And that's, I mean, not to that extent, but the Browns did something similar, saying this one's for Miles.
Yeah.
And we took over.
Right. And just look, though, I mean, look at the past and the players that come to mind is like TJ Houshmandzadeh and Lendale White rubbing it on their cleats, stomping on it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't think it's ever really worked out. I think after that, Bengals got stomped by us in the playoffs, and then we stomped the Titans next time we met up with them. It's like, I just don't know if I'd try that route.
Right. Yeah, or bring up any memories on that.
Right.
That's sacred to Steelers land and
it's
the
just,
Steelers
It's
in
just
general.
funny to me because it's like it'd be different if it was the Ravens, because that's an actual true rivalry. But you're talking about the Bengals, which it hasn't been a rivalry since.
I mean, since Vontaze Burfict took AB's head off.
When was that? 2015?
Maybe.
Playoffs?
Something like that. I mean, and that was them coming down on their high for Andy Dalton being good, AJ Green in his prime, and everything working out for him. And, then it turned out that they had a whole bunch of thugs. They had Burfict, they had Pac-Man Jones, and they were just as dirty as ever. They won by being dirty. And
hey, whatever. If it's something for the Bengals to get fired up for this week, so be it. But I'm sure it's going to make the Steelers fired up too.
I'm sure, absolutely. Somebody like Hayward and Tuitt and Watt, they're going to be pretty upset about that. And it'll be interesting because with Williams out, Avery Williamson is getting a lot of reps this week, so he may be playing a role. And so it's going to be interesting, people in that getting fired up about that. Is he going to, be like, okay, I'm a Steeler now. I got to get fired up about this too. I got to be a part of that culture as well.
Yeah.
So I think that'll ultimately help us because that'll give Spillane or Williams time to go out and catch a breather if need be. So
I'd be cool with seeing him on the field. I like I think he seems like a cool dude, and I
Yeah.
think I'll be interested to see what he looks like on the field.
And he seems like he could be a motivator, which is something you want. You want that in your culture. And I just think our culture overall is why we've been continuing to win games, because we don't have a person like AB
right.
or OBJ or Le'Veon who require the ball or they're throwing a fit whether we're winning by 20 or not. So.
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly. For sure. I can't remember who was on the injury report.
I don't. That's a good question. I'm sure our regulars. I'm sure Pouncey and
Actually,
Stephon.
I know Juju was on there for his knee.
Okay, he's on there all the time for his knee. Deontay was probably on there for his toe.
Probably.
I'm
sure Watt's on there.
It wouldn't surprise me if Watt was on there. I'm sure Hilton's on there because we're still trying to get him back. Alualu will be on there, which they said that it looks like Alualu is progressing nice, but they haven't said whether he's coming back this week or not.
What about Hilton?
Hilton, he's been limited for 2 straight weeks, so he's been practicing, just not full participant. So
I'd like to get him back in the mix for this game too.
Yeah, I'd like to see him back. Alualu, if he's not 100%, don't start him. Let him sit again, and let him get 100%. It affects our run defense, but maybe Williamson will help, and just kind of get some of these younger guys more reps, and I think we'll be able to work that out. So.
Right, for sure.
I'm more concerned about Joe Burrow passing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And whether or not Ben starts or Rudolph starts, Dobbs, whoever it might be, we've still got our awesome defense.
Right.
And whereas I know it's going up against Joe Burrow, and he's looked really good, he hasn't seen the Steelers defense yet.
Nope.
And he hasn't seen a fired-up Steelers defense in case the towel is coming.
At Heinz Field.
Yeah, at Heinz Field.
With fans.
Yeah, because what it was, three away games in a row?
3 away games. So it's going to be the first one back home. So Steeler fans should be fired up. Might be able to hear some Renegade.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully they do it, man. Yeah, I don't know. I still trust our defense more than their offense. Even though they have Joe Burrow and they've looked good, I still just think that we're gonna get after him. So
yeah, I agree with that.
What do you have for a score prediction?
Score prediction, Ben playing 31-17.
And if Ben doesn't play?
If Rudolph plays, I'm going to say 25-18. I'll give them an extra point.
Okay. I didn't come up with a Ben if or Ben not. So I'm going to do, if Ben plays, I'm thinking that I'll go 28-17 Steelers.
Okay. If Rudolph or Dobbs plays?
Oh, man. If Rudolph or Dobbs plays, I will go 21-17.
Okay. That sounds pretty good.
Maybe even 20-17. Won't give him the 3 touchdowns. All right, man. Well, how about a bold prediction?
I would like to go offense, but it's tough this week. Just because we don't know what's happening with so many people. So I'm going to go defense. My 10-plus sacks was way off. Very disappointing. But I'm going to say Avery Williamson plays about 50-50 split with Spillane. And I'm going to say he gets a fumble recovery and a pick.
Oh, snap. Okay. I'm going to say this is the game that TJ goes off.
Okay.
I'm going to say he gets 4 sacks.
Ooh.
And we'll go with a strip sack on that, too.
Wow. That would put him up to double digits on the year.
I want to see it, man. He's just been held so much this year.
Oh, and not getting called.
And he's still getting there.
Well, and ready for this, though? The downer? So the head ref for this game is from Baltimore.
Oh, lovely.
And he has reffed 1 Steelers game this year, and apparently it did not go our way very well. So
no holding calls on Watt again. Got it.
Yeah, which has been the whole year. So
right. Okay. Nothing new exactly. All right. Well, you got anything else to add for this preview?
Nope.
All right, man. Well, cool. Thanks for everybody watching the video. Make sure to leave your comments and score predictions for the game down below. And we'll be back later, I guess, after the game to recap it. And hopefully it ends up with another Steelers win.
Yeah, let's go for 9-0.
That's right, man. Okay. Well, cool. I don't have anything else to add, so I guess until the next time, go Steelers.
Go Steelers.